Studio, we have Mike Shingange. He's the Deputy President of Nehawu, just to give us a general national overview of what's going to happen. Mike, good morning, and thanks for your time this morning. So we heard what's happening there. We heard about Cape Town. Obviously, pretty much the same arrangements being made around the country. So where are you in negotiations at the moment? Since you announced that there's going to be the strike, have you heard anything from Sars?
No, we haven't. Remember that negotiations have collapsed, and we have actually invoked the principle of asking a third party to mediate. In this case, the CCMA was roped in. CCMA tried to mediate and come up with a settlement offer, to which the union did canvass the members to try and consider it, but the employer could not move an inch on that towards that settlement proposal by the CCMA. When it was clear that we were going to commence on the strike, I must say that on the 25th and the 26th we had two meetings, or three meetings in fact, with the employer. And at one moment they were looking like they are coming closer to finding solutions, but the next few hours they reneged to the agreement that we were almost clinching. So what I would say now, the only thing that is going to bring us to the table is if the employer comes back and saying that they are willing to talk, but our members are now on the street. That's the only way that we're going to force the employer to come and consider our demands.
So just tell us about, when it comes to salary increases, when it comes to salaries that your members are earning at SARS. Just tell us about, what are the difficulties? What is a day in the life of a SARS employee, a member of yours? They're working what kinds of hours? And, for anybody going, we all want salary increases. What makes you so special at this time in this current climate?
Of course, in this current climate, as you can see that everything else is going up. With the employer, when they started negotiations in November last year, they were actually offering something that was even less than inflation, and something that we thought that it was an insult on our part. And then when we moved, we were at 15% demand. We are now come down to 11.4%. The employer has not moved an inch. They're still at around 5%. Now that's where we are saying that.
Is it 7 at the moment? Or
no, the 7 that was there was something that they've actually withdrawn. When I'm saying they were on Monday, on Tuesday, they were almost closer to where the CCMA.
So that is the figure, so it's less than 7.
That's that's 7. So that's why we're back on the street, because our view was that they can move a percentage or two upwards in order to meet that which the CCMA has been proposing. So, I mean, the day in a worker of a SARS is so huge. We work many hours there in that, and then we're earning very little. I mean, we spend about 35% of our salaries just commuting from work from home to work, and paying for transportations. You know that everything else has gone up, but we are not able to meet the means ends as workers in this country. That's why when they argue about the CPIX, we ask them about CPIX of what? Because food is up, transport is up, petrol is up, everything is up. So what is the CPIX about? So we're thinking that the employer is not taking us serious. In the middle of negotiations in December, the employer comes and withdraws some of the benefits that the employees were already benefiting.
Such as?
You will know that there's a performance bonuses that when people have performed better in your institutions, you are able to assess them and give them some bonuses. They're just in the middle of negotiations withdrawing those. In the middle of negotiations, while we're demanding that we must be given a family responsibility leave in a 3-year cycle as opposed to a 1-year cycle as it's happening now, they come and withdraw the entirety of the leave cycle and introducing a new dispensation at all. So we are saying that it's a negotiating in good faith, and we can't tolerate an employer that does not take serious its employees, or does not respect the organized labor, and does not take the interest of this country at heart, because they have chose a wrong time to anger the workers. They've chose a time which is a critical time in terms of the South African Revenue Services, when everybody is queuing and starts wanting the services. They've chose to anger the workers at this point in time, and they want to make us as the most irresponsible people in this case.
What reasons do they give for withdrawing some of those benefits, or withdrawing things like increases and leave?
There will have been no reason at all, because remember this, they were not part of the things that were on the negotiating tables. It was an ambush. In fact, we were on holidays. It was just during December when they issued a memo to staff. So when we came back, we started to resume negotiations in January. We asked, but what is this thing? They said, no, well, it's part of the things that we want to review. We want to introduce the new dispensation. But we said, you came with the offer. We came with demands when we started negotiations. These things were never on the table. Why are they coming in the middle of a holiday, in the middle of negotiations? So it's like trying to push the employees on the back foot or the backs against their wall. And that's something that they've really really irritated our employees.
Well, Mike, it doesn't seem like they're very phased at the moment, or if they are, they're not showing it, because they say that they have contingency measures in place. They're going to ensure, they're confident there'll be minimal disruption. So what do you do if they seem to carry on? Offices are open, people get what they want. What's the next level for you representing workers?
Well, the strike is only starting today. You haven't seen the turnout of the strike. You haven't seen, you must take 3 hours from now and see whether the services are going to be carrying on. Yeah, in the border services, in the Sars, in the port of entries across the country. You just have to look, because if you have got 2 unions, which are the only unions that they operate in, and they are on the strike, all their employees on the strike, I wonder which contingency plans. The contingency plan could only be sourcing people from outside, but those who are employed by Sars are the ones who gave their unions the mandate to go and organize for a strike. So are the ones that have decided it's not the leadership of the union that said we want to strike, it is the members themselves that wanted to go.
And encouraging people to do this online, would that be one way for them to deal with the strike, or is that still going to be effective?
Doing this thing online has always been there, and it's not a new thing. I mean, the e-filing has always been taking place. But remember, that's not the only thing. There are people at the port of entries. There are people who are supposed to deal with customers, with custom control when people come from other countries. There are a lot of things that we're stopping people, corruption at the level of the border. We're stopping people coming with drugs from outside the country. So that you can do online. It needs physical people to making sure that they search and they do custom controls. So that you can't do online. And that is where they're going to be hit very hard, I can tell you.
All right. We'll be certainly watching it closely over the next couple of hours. Thank you very much. And that's Mike Shingange. He's Deputy President of Nehawu, just giving us a broad overview of where they are in these broken down talks. What next as well? Well, let's go to